Today, our adventure through the Bible is going to start in the wilderness. So we've already talked about Moses and how he led the people out of Egypt, and now they're in the wilderness. And so we're going to talk about some of Moses's... Oh, go ahead. What are you going to say?
Are we stuck in the wilderness?
We're stuck in the wilderness. And we're going to talk about Moses's friends, and he picked 12 guys because up ahead is the promised land, but they don't know what the promised land looks like. So Moses picked 12 guys, and we're going to use our Olafs to represent our 12 guys.
Is this the first guy?
Sure, set him up. So we've got 1.
Is that the second guy?
Yeah, 2.
What are the guys?
Those are going to be the guys that are going to go into the promised land, and they're going to check it out. And they're going to see what the cities look like and what the people are looking like and what the food looks like.
Does it look huge?
They're going to find out, huh? So let's double check. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, we're going to need to use our other buddy here. He's a little bigger. 12. He's the big guy. All right, 12. So there's 12 spies, and their job was to sneak into the promised land and check it out. Well, in the wilderness, they had food, and it was just like their normal size food. So there's their hot sauce, and here's their grapes.
Can I try some of this?
You like that hot sauce? And, sometimes they would have some chocolate. So there's their chocolate. You can try some of that, huh? There's their chocolate. Let's see. Sometimes they'd have campouts, and they'd have marshmallow. So that's what they were used to having, normal-sized food. But then when they snuck into the promised land, they found out that the food was really big.
Like hot?
Yeah, they had huge bottles of hot sauce and huge marshmallows and huge chocolate chips. Thanks. And then they had huge grapes. I didn't have a real huge grape, so let's use this balloon. Oh man, it's gonna be our grape. Can you imagine a grape this big? That would be huge. In the Bible, it tells us that the grapes in the promised land were so big, it took 2 guys to carry a bunch of grapes. Can you believe it? Biting that one? That would be huge. So the food was really big in the promised land. That's because it was really great land. It was good for growing foods. And so they saw this beautiful land, big food, but there was also something else that was big in the promised land. The people! Ugh, goodness. We were grape. The people were really big in the promised land. And it really surprised the spies. Get our big Olaf. There. There we go. So in the promised land, they found these really big, giant people. And so when the spies went back to Moses, they said, yeah, the land is great and the food is huge, but so are the people. And we look like little tiny grasshoppers next to these guys. And so they said, it's way too scary. We can't go in there. But there were 2 guys. Let's use these 2. There were 2 spies named Joshua and Caleb. And they said, yeah, the food is really big and the people are kind of big and scary and the cities are really walled and it's going to be hard to get in. It'll be a challenge. But God is with us. He promised us that land and he's with us, so we can do it. That's what Caleb and Joshua said. But all the people believed the fear, and they were too afraid to go into the promised land. And because they didn't trust God, they believed the fear instead. God said, all right, we'll stay in the wilderness. So the trip to the promised land was supposed to take 11 days. Instead, it took 40 years. 40 years.
Oh, but
Can you believe it?
we leave the food here.
Yeah, we'll leave the food there. I'll move our big guy because he can be kind of loud. But you know what all these Olafs try? Do you know what they make me think of? Ugh! That movie Frozen. Do you guys like Frozen? Do you like that movie, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of Frozen things. We watch that movie a lot, huh? And it made me thinking about the story today about Joshua and Caleb and how the other spies were afraid. It kind of reminded me of Elsa in that story. Does she get afraid?
Yeah.
And when she's afraid, her fear keeps her locked up in her room, huh? And her fear is what makes her icy powers get all out of control, huh? But at the end of the movie, what does Elsa learn about? What helps make the winter go away? Do you remember? Love, huh? And so that kind of reminded me of the story today too. So the people were so afraid, it kept them stuck in the wilderness. They were trapped in the wilderness, like Elsa was so afraid, trapped in her room. But Caleb and Joshua
Are we trapped in our wilderness?
were in the wilderness, but we're going to be like Caleb and Joshua. We're going to follow those guys. And they knew how much God loved them.
I noticed something to my shoes and braces. They got frozen in the wilderness.
Frozen in the wilderness. Well, Caleb and Joshua, they knew God loved them a lot. And they might have been a little bit afraid too. I mean, the giants were huge. It didn't change that they might have been scared. But they knew that God's love was greater and they could trust that. So next time you're afraid, know that God loves you and you can trust him. We have a fun activity to do, but we got to go to the promised land to go do it. So you ready to hop in our car?
Yep.
Okay, buckle up. Got your passport? I hope you have your
Yeah.
passport. We're off to the promised land. I see it up ahead. You ready? Let's go.
Go,
Come
go,
on.
go, 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 go. Oh my God. I'm going out to the forest.
You made it. You made it to the promised land.
What is my direction?
Okay, guys, if you have your passport and you wanted to add our verse for this week, it says, "But the Lord is with us, don't be afraid," Numbers 14:9. And today I drew a picture of the two guys having to carry the grapes because they were so big. And so our activity is we're pretending we're in the promised land and we've got our giant grapes.
This is our activity.
And I blew up these balloons and I put a question inside. So if you have balloons at home, they could be purple, like purple grapes, or what other color are grapes?
Red.
Red. You can have red balloons, green grapes. And if you want, before you blow it up, you could ask your mom and dad to write some questions on them.
What is it?
Yeah, so if the kids wanted to write questions about what we've done so far, they can put it in their balloon and then they can play a game called Squish the Grape. So you're going to put your grape down on the ground
And squish.
and then we're going to try to use your feet. So you're going to have to stand up, okay? Ugh, you got it. It might be loud. Are you ready for that?
Come on, Red.
Come on, Grape. answer questions. You ready? Let's see what it says. Okay. Who had a son who was 100 when he was 100 years old? So when he was 100 years old,
Abraham.
he had a baby boy. And you're right, Abraham. You want to try another balloon? Yeah? Okay, let's get this grape. All right, we're gonna do it together. You ready?
Sure.
'Cause, you know. Oh, okay. Oh, jump on it a little. Whoa! You did that one.
No.
Okay, let's see. Is there a question in here? Can you find it? Oh man. Okay, who was rescued from a basket in the river? Do you remember that story? It says, who was rescued from a basket in the river? Do you know? Moses! What do you think? Another grape? Are you all done? Do one more?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do one more. You ready?
Here we go.
Oh, we almost fell. Okay, let's see what this one says. This is a workout. Whose home was the Garden of Eden? Who had that home? Do you remember?
Adam and Eve.
Adam and Eve. I hope you guys have fun playing this game this week. Bye. You tell the kids bye.